All right, part 2, DMAC, defining and measuring. In this part, Six Sigma's DMAIC problem-solving roadmap starts with defining an improvement project, measuring its current performance, and identifying all the possible factors contributing to the situation. This part shows you the tools for beginning an improvement project. Chapter 5, Identifying and Right-Sizing Projects. In this chapter, defining projects to improve your processes, aligning Six Sigma projects with business needs, and realizing the benefits of a Six Sigma project. The essence of Six Sigma is to solve problems that are impacting business performance. But before you can solve a problem or improve performance, you have to properly define and scope your goal or objective and chart your course, the Six Sigma project. In fact, defining a project is 50% of the improvement game, and framing problems the right way is critical to the success of your organization. The define stage of the breakthrough strategy, DMAIC, requires you to identify problems to be solved, but to solve them, you must construct Six Sigma projects. To get the most out of your Six Sigma initiative, Six Sigma practitioners and management alike address these problems in a strategic way. Defining projects for success requires you to recognize problematic areas of the business and subsequently create a clear direction for resolving these problematic areas. The key is to constrain project scope to a manageable and achievable size. Remember the metaphorical question, how do you eat an elephant? The answer, one bite at a time. It's the same with Six Sigma projects. Problematic areas of the business, such as warranty returns, accounts receivable, product yield, and customer satisfaction issues, are the elephant-sized issues. Address these large concerns by engaging in more than one Six Sigma project, thereby eating the elephant one bite at a time. This chapter shows you how to take those bites. Launching a Six Sigma project. In Six Sigma, you make progress the old-fashioned way, one project at a time. That's not to say progress is serial. It's often accomplished in parallel, as many black belts, green belts, and yellow belts apply the breakthrough strategy throughout an organization. See Chapter 4 for more on belts. In essence, projects are the unit of change. They define the collective effort by which most Six Sigma progress is accomplished. Projects represent, and in fact are, the level of granularity expressed to manage Six Sigma change from a single process improvement to a large-scale business improvement effort. In the following sections, we walk you through each of the steps to initiating a Six Sigma project, from framing the problem to figuring out your goals and needs. Scoping the perfect project. A Six Sigma project starts as a practical problem that adversely impacts the business and ends as a practical solution that improves business performance. The focus of a project is to solve a problem that is hurting key performance elements, such as the following: organizational viability, employee or customer satisfaction, costs, process capability, output capacity, cycle time, or revenue potential. Begin your project by stating performance problems in quantifiable terms that define the expectations related to desired levels of performance and timing as described in Figure 5-1, which I will read through momentarily, but it's right here. I can't get it to focus. Maybe if I held it still. Yeah. As you define your Six Sigma project, pay attention to issues that warrant a Six Sigma level of effort. Consider problems that have a financial impact to EBIT, earnings before income tax, or NPBIT, net profit before income tax, or have a significant strategic value. Produce results that significantly exceed the amount of effort required to obtain the improvement. Aren't easily or quickly solvable with traditional methods. Improve performance on a specified metric or key performance indicator, KPI, by greater than 70% over existing performance levels. And figure 5.1, as I just mentioned, a practical problem, like generally a symmetric or chronic problem that is impacting the success of a process or function. A Six Sigma project, a well-defined effort that states the problem in quantifiable terms with known expectations. A statistical problem, data-oriented problem that is addressed with facts and data analysis methods, becomes a statistical solution, data-driven solution with known confidence risk levels versus an I think solution. Becomes a control plan, a method of assuring the long-term sustainability of the fix to the problem. Becomes a practical solution. The solution is not complex, expensive, or irrational, and is readily implementable. And that in turn becomes results. Tangible efforts, tangible results, measurable in metrics with quantifiable financial or strategic value. That was figure 5.1, project lifecycle. I forgot to mention that. Okay. Transforming the problem. After you've framed a particular problem to become a potential Six Sigma project, the problem goes through a critical metamorphosis. It transforms from a practical business problem into a statistical problem. This way, you can identify a statistical solution, which you'll later transform back into a practical solution. In defining the project, you therefore state your problem in statistical language to ensure that you use data and only data to solve it. Using only data forces you to abandon gut feelings, intuition, and best guesses as ways to address your problems. Tip: you can't solve real problems just by throwing time and money at them. You need practical solutions. Six Sigma projects provide practical solutions that aren't complex, aren't too difficult to implement, and don't require extensive resources to affect the improvement. Knowing your goals and needs. To obtain the maximum benefit from your Six Sigma projects, you must be aware of the strategic needs, goals, and objectives of the business. You should keep these key goals and objectives in mind when you decide which problems you need to solve as part of your Six Sigma projects. Figure 5-2 illustrates this process, which I will read through now, starting with the name of the figure. Figure 5-2, project alignment to business needs. Your objective is to link a Six Sigma to business priorities, which is the recognize and define phases, which give you the output of project identification and launch. To achieve breakthrough improvement, you measure, analyze, improve, and control, and that leads you to a solution to the problem and a final report. And then you integrate into your day-to-day business, which is the realize phase, which gives you the output of implementation and financial benefit. Figure 5-2 is an expanded view of the breakthrough strategy that includes a recognize step in the beginning and a realize step at the end. You begin by finding areas of the business that need improvement to meet business goals. Recognize. This approach leads you to determine the specific problems you need to solve to improve performance. Then you determine a statistical solution to your problem, implement the solution, and obtain the subsequent benefits. Where to begin? Start by assessing the higher level needs of your organization using any knowledge obtained from the voice of the customer, VOC, and the voice of the business, VOB. The VOC is all the needs and expectations your customers have for your products and services. The VOB represents all the needs and expectations of the business. The basic idea is to assess both the VOC and VOB to identify gaps, areas where the expectations of the business and expectations of the customer are misaligned. See Chapter 13 for further details on VOC. To help zero in on problem areas, look for themes such as the following: accounts receivable and invoicing issues, capacity constraints, customer complaints, cycle time or responsiveness, excessive inventory levels, ineffective or defective services, product returns or warranty costs, yield and subsequent rework or scrap. Determining project responsibilities. In addition to transforming the problem from the practical domain to the statistical domain, see the earlier section, transforming the problem, Six Sigma projects also transform the ownership structure. Problems that begin in functional areas transform from line managers through belts and finally onto process owner, as figure 5-3 demonstrates. That's figure 5-3. Define is the responsibility of management. Measure, analyze, and improve are the responsibilities of belt, and control is the responsibility of the process owner. The management must define by using project identification and launch, support given from the belt. The belts measure, analyze, and improve by creating solutions to the problem and a final report, support given from a champion. And the process owner utilizes control by obtaining ongoing financial benefit, support given from the belt. Totally. Project responsibilities, accountabilities, and deliverables are divided between managers and the various belts who perform problem-solving activities. Managers, including the process owner, are responsible for determining priorities and focus, while non-management personnel are responsible for implementing the solution and realizing the benefits. These project life cycle relationships prevent Six Sigma deliverables from falling into the cracks. Six Sigma is a team effort. Even in the define phase, where managers are responsible for project identification and launch, the belts assist. Generally speaking, belts have only 20% of the responsibility for defining and managing improvement, while the managers have 80%. Later, during implementation, the MAIC portion of the breakthrough strategy, these percentages are reversed. Writing the business case. After you've honed in on the problem area, you need to define the business case for the project approach you're considering. Writing the business case helps you describe or characterize the issues and estimate the potential value of improvement projects. Don't worry, we provide a writing template to help you with the process in the following sections. At this stage, you aren't looking to define the project, but rather to identify the value. Starting with candidate business case statements. Completing a business case writing exercise can be an eye-opening and exhilarating experience. Perform the exercise as a team and have each member use 15 to 20 sticky notes to fill in the business case writing template described in this section. Tip: describing a business problem at the high level doesn't need to be very detailed. The details come when you define the project itself, just prior to beginning the measure phase of the DMAIC methodology. At this stage, you're describing the problem at a business level, such as the following. Excessive warranty returns, high accounts receivable levels, lack of customer sales order responsiveness, and non-competitive product yields and cost. Make your best estimate of the potential financial benefit from improvements based on the data or knowledge you have at the time. In the beginning, just get a number in the ballpark. Here's the structure of the business case statement. Use it as a template for your own organization. As a company, our insert specific type of performance for the name specific area isn't meeting defined goal, target, or other measure. Overall, this is causing name type of problems that are costing us as much as list specific amount per insert specific time frame. Here are some examples. As a company, our accounts receivable performance for the finance invoicing area isn't meeting the goal of 47 days sales outstanding. Overall, this is causing cash flow and budget problems that are costing us as much as $4 million per year. As a company, our final process yield performance for the paint and polish area isn't meeting the targeted 97% yield. Overall, this is causing floor space, shipment, and resource problems that are costing us as much as $900,000 per year. As our company, our on-time delivery performance for our healthcare products area isn't meeting the scheduling and delivery cost requirements. Overall, this is causing delivery issues and customer dissatisfaction problems that are costing us as much as $3 million in lost revenues and $1.5 million in expenses per year. Ask each member of your team to brainstorm in silence, thinking of as many business cases as he or she can, and writing the case idea titles on the sticky notes. Each written business case is a standalone idea that identifies problem areas of the business. When a team member has exhausted all ideas, he or she sticks those notes on the wall. Each member of the team performs a similar action until all members have posted their ideas. Selecting the business case. After you've drafted a set of candidate business case statements, your next step is to select the business case that will define the basis of your Six Sigma project. Sort through the candidates iteratively, with each member of the team reading all business case ideas and moving them into common clusters. Feel free to move the idea from cluster to cluster. After about 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have them sorted into categories. Usually, you see a natural emergence of 5 to 10 problem areas or clusters. Have the team leader for the exercise write a title for each of the clusters, such as warranty returns, accounts receivable, and so on. Generally, some ideas will be duplicated, but that's okay. Duplication indicates the strength of an idea. After this initial phase, the fun begins. With 5 to 10 different problem areas in hand, your team can now begin adding more data and detail, and even redefine some of the categories if necessary, to help you take the ideas to the actionable level. Next, identify the person most likely to be responsible for each identified area. Because the group makes the decision, and the choice is usually obvious, this step goes pretty fast. Tip. Because everyone has been actively involved in this process, each person has a sense of belief in and ownership for the issues and selections. Another important benefit comes from each person having to read and move the notes from one cluster to another. Folks process information and become knowledgeable about the broader issues facing the organization instead of only understanding what's going on in their own respective departments. This exercise is a great way to create a common platform of knowledge and cooperation, which leads to widespread involvement and improvement actions. The business case selection exercise uses the Six Sigma tool known as an affinity diagram, which you can read about in Chapter 8. This modified brainstorming technique has the advantage of gathering inputs from all team members without the inhibition of criticism. It also fosters the natural emergence of important groupings or categories of ideas. You now have a valuable set of data and a knowledgeable team to develop an improvement plan using Six Sigma. You know the most critical improvements needed, have an insight into the type and scope of needed improvements, know who has responsibility for each improvement idea, and have a sense of the value that can be created by effectively addressing the problems. This process prepares you to define specific projects to solve elephant-sized problems. You're now ready to enter the define phase of DMAIC. And a tip, the business case writing tool is a general purpose tool that can also be used at the local process levels, and even at a personal level to address value and performance challenges in your own life.